Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Somewhere. Well, it's just another fun-filled day. It's the middle of the week, Wednesday. The Fed is going to push and shove and jump up and down, and you know all the fun things to make us believe that something good is happening. I guess I'm not sure at this point in time. It all seems to be just, we're going through a period of time here with the quantitative easing, and people constantly don't want to talk about that. It's the oddest thing. The Federal Reserve plowing trillions, not billions, not even millions now. It's trillions of dollars into the marketplace, and constantly. We don't see the same ebb and flow and action we've seen in the markets before quantitative easing. Before quantitative easing, markets ebbed and flowed. In other words, they went up and they went down, and there was a lot more retracements. And now it's like dramatic action. We get this dramatic action to kind of like a collapse of the market itself, and oh my God, and it starts to fall down and goes 10 or 15% down. Next thing you know is that it's back up again. But it takes some type of dramatic action or event to freak them all out. And it's just not the way the markets used to function. They ebb and flowed constantly back and forth. The Federal Reserve is definitely more of a minus. I like that, Robin. Happy FOMC day. Yeah, really. The markets used to ebb and flow. Robin is can confirm that. They used to back and fill. There was, now the way I've described it. Let me try to describe it even better. But so what's this? UK Consumer Price Index was 3.4% year over year. And I wonder how much that was up or down. Let's go see if we can throw this on Dukascopy. Let's put this up on Dukascopy real quick. Let me shift this over. And let's see, where's it at? It would be right there. Let's put the Dukascopy calendar up on this thing, just to take a look, since it's inflation, since it's inflation, and it's important because the world is governed right now by this wild goose chase of inflation. So there's today, right there, and the British market GDP, let's see, what was it at? So I guess core was 4.5. That's what I like to follow. And consumer price index year over year was 3.4, forecasted at 3.6. Okay, previous was at 4. Now I knew that they were talking about it being lower, not higher, and so they were expecting to see some downwardly drift in the inflation over there, and it seems to have happened too. There's no problem there. And today, for the United States, let's see if there's any 8:30 news. We have the FOMC in the afternoon. But we have no real. Let's see, there's a 7 o'clock. Mortgage-backed applications came out. Okay. And they were minus 1.6, and they were previous was plus 7.1. So that put some pressure on it. EIA crude oil stocks, that comes out at 10:30 our time, right? Yeah, right there. Okay. That's pretty much that. That's it. Okay, so now we have to wait till tomorrow. See what tomorrow brings. And tomorrow will be, let's just show you what tomorrow is. It's during the webinar, and that is the current accounts balance, continuous job claims, initial jobless claims. They're kind of bouncing around, but nothing too exciting. We'll see. We'll see how they act. Most of it comes at 10 o'clock. Oh, there's an 8:31. Philadelphia Fed manufacturing. They pay attention to that. Now, they have it listed as low, but sometimes that can be very influential. And then existing home sales can be pretty wild also. When the numbers are out of whack, they can be very exciting. All right, now let's go back to There's the dollar index. You can see another day heading towards the 104 area now. All right, so where did we start off with this conversation this morning? There's the dollar index right there. We were talking about the Federal Reserve, and over the last 15 years now with the QE, it has really altered the nature of the market. Even Janos created a great video about it. A couple times he had a couple videos about it, about how to trade fundamentals, because the fundamentals don't trade normal anymore. They trade. They have to be literally, some incredibly wild number way off course to disrupt the market. Back in the old days, before quantitative easing, back in 2008, earlier than that, they ebb and flowed. They went up and they went down, and they might last, 6 hours or a day. Now they last about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and they go right back into the rhythm again. So it's a definitely strange event going on here, and I look at it every day and I just shake my head and I go like, wow, this is not the world that we knew. We're in a new world of because it's the Federal Reserve controlling it. They're out there controlling the ebb and flow. So in other words, when things start to sell off, the Federal Reserve steps in and buys. What they do is they will contact hedge funds. They'll contact mutual funds and say, look, we're going to lend you money today, and how would you like $400 million, and we're going to not charge you any interest on it. And then they say we'll talk to you tomorrow about if we're going to take it back. And so then the traders go and they kind of buy straddles, the funds or the mutual funds, especially the hedge funds. They go in and they buy straddles and things like that, and so like a Citadel gets $1 billion a night for free. They do that type of thing. The Federal Reserve does that, and so what they're doing is they're holding the market up, not counting what we don't know. Remember when they tried to audit the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve refused to be audited, So that's what I mean about the change in characteristic. That's what I'm talking about, is those things occur now. And as traders, we look at this and we go, this doesn't make any sense. Why is the markets buying and then buying higher and then buying higher and then buying higher? In other words, they keep on averaging up, whereas real markets always would buy low, sell high, wait for it to go low. In the case nowadays, a lot of times it won't go low for months upon months. You can see it just goes on. Matter of fact, you can see our math picks it up where we look at let's go look at the S&P 500. There's the S&P 500 going back. Let's see how far can we go back on mine before we're going to the weekly buy. Right there. Before quantitative easing, we never had, like the way the Turkish lira goes or any of these things. We never used to have those things. Now look at it. It goes into weekly buy back in November, the end of October. It just stays in it. And it's just like they do that a lot of times. We saw that on the V bottom in 22. Was it 22? No, 2020. In March, it went into a V bottom. I kept on saying, this is it. It's going back into the weekly buy. It's going to be a V bottom. Because this is what the Federal Reserve does. So, it's not like we're talking sour grapes or I'm angry at them or any of that other stuff. We're just basically telling you that markets don't trade normal anymore with quantitative easing. They trade as if they have a lot of. You'll hear this word, and I know it scares some of you, but they'll say that there's a Fed put, P-U-T, out there. In other words, the Fed is holding the bottom and raising the bottom up. In other words, it doesn't let it go down. There's a Fed put out there. The Fed will come in. Now, Mr. Powell, years ago, at this point, was asked that question about the Fed put. And he just kind of shook his head and said, no, there's no such thing. But there is, because we see it every day in the trading market. They don't ebb and flow anymore. And so if there was no Fed put, you would see it back and fill, and traders would try to buy something cheaper, not buy it more expensive to sell it higher. That's not the natural way of professional traders. Take a sip there of the tea. So that's what we're talking about. It's just that we watch this every day and we just shake our heads. It's so weird to watch. All right, now you can see there's the S&P 500. They're acting well. It went into the buy yesterday, and it's trying to stay in the buy today. The weekly is not backing off at all. Now let's go back to the dollar index. This is more of a currency webinar in the first half hour, and we tell people if they want to see something else, you're welcome to ask, and we'll go look at it. You want to look at Amazon, we'll look at Amazon. You want to look at Navarra or NVO or whatever, we'll go look at it. But we always stay with the rhythm of trying to go through the currency market first, and then we drift off into metal stocks or metal like gold, silver, copper, and platinum. Then we drift over to the energies, North Sea Brent, West Texas Intermediate, natural gas. We follow an energy company down in Spain, that type of thing. And then from there we drift over and look at some of the stock indices around the world. But we're always willing to look at anything anybody wants to look at this moment, because we get bored. We want to look at other things too. We find fascinating to reach around. So anyway, there is the, there's the dollar index. You can see it's climbing up again, and I think let's go over to here. Let's take a look at the 30-year bond. 30-year bond is trying to lift up. It didn't get into the buy yesterday because it was a green and a red, and it's trying to get into the weekly buy. So it's acting really firm. So that is some good signs of interest rates starting to stall out again. It's making a higher low because of, here's the low there, and it's lifting up. And now, obviously, if this curls and starts to head down and breaks this low here, then we'll probably see a lot more pressure on the market. And we'll see more pressure on pairs trades and more strength in the dollar itself. That's the way it usually works. As a matter of fact, that sounds like almost like a headline. Doesn't it? The title of today. We could probably come up with something like that where, we're talking about strong dollar, weak pairs. I think that could be literally the description today of what we're really looking at, and that is the truth of it all in the end. It is definitely holding on to. That's the, I guess I can say is that is what we're really talking about here is why is the dollar strong? And it's because the Fed is trying to hold the market up. And as long as the stock market stays up strong, the bond market will stay sideways. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And the only time, what we see normally is, in this quantitative QE world, is that it's hard for the Fed to really control interest rates because the market itself is not a listed market. It's not listed on an exchange really. It's an over-the-counter market. So it really flies around to the supply and demand of the different institutions trading them and the owners of them, that type of thing. So, and only when you see like the bond auction by the Federal Reserve do you see some, kind of control to some extent. It seems like almost every other Federal Reserve bond auction gets beat up, and then they can come in and buy the government bonds and perk them up and hold them. They try to hold them flat. They can hold government bonds. They just can't hold the rest of the bonds. And the bond market is the largest market in the world. It's like 100 times bigger than the stock market. It's twice the size of the currency market, I believe, if not 3 times or 4 times bigger than the currency market. So, and which means also the currency market is probably like 25 times greater than the stock market. All right. So there it is. You can see there's some firmness in the 30-year bond. Not much. Just a tick or two. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back to the dollar index again. Da, 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 da. What else can we say about this dollar index? It is trying to get into a buy. That's something. Let's see how it looks on the. You can see it here on the beta. Let's go look at it on the beta. And there's the beta, and you can see the same thing. It's it's on. It's trying to climb up into the buy. That's yesterday's weekly close, and what is that there? Today's the 20th, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's yesterday's, and you can see the. Where's that right there? You can see it's been climbing up, and it's been in a daily buy now for 6 days, going on a 7th day. We are into the 7th day now. So, all right, that pretty much, that's that broad view of looking at the dollar itself. Now let's jump over to the euro. See what the euro is up to this morning. Okay, and there it is right there. There's the dollar euro is paired. It's been in the sell now on a 5th day, but the weekly is holding up. You can see it down in here. Oh, you can't see that. Let's do this. There we are. The weekly is holding up, and the daily is selling down. So on the short-term basis, day to day, it's got downwardly pressure, and then on a week-to-week basis, it's been in a buy for was it like 3 full weeks now, and obviously it's higher than where it went into the buy back in the 108ish area, and now you can see even now we're getting down there. That's for sure. We're starting to get down to that. Went into the buy here, and we've gone up, made a high of almost 110, and now we're coming down, and the daily has basically kept us straight out of that. They tried to adjust it there. It was interesting. There was that day. There was talk about lowering interest rates again. The moment they say that stuff, it gets exciting. They just get nuts. And let's take a look at the intraday just to see what's going on with intraday. All right, and there is, we don't need to go back and look at how many times it's been right, because it's always got that pretty much consistent level. So it went into the buy here for that ride, went into the sell right here, isn't it? Right there or there? I think it's there. 1, 2, 3. So 3. So it went into the sell right there. The next bar was a good break. It was a winner. Goes back into the buy right here. A very poor win. It was 3 different highs, but still. Then it goes into the sell right there. A nice little slide. And now we're seeing some real strength come into it. Look at that. That's a pretty good move. Like this one right here, but we'll see how long that lasts. So it's going into an intraday buy. Intraday. This is a intraday ticking away live. So in other words, you're seeing the math function on an intraday basis live. All right. And I'm just fascinated just watching it for a little bit. Let's see how well this does. That was a pretty good push, so I'm not sure if there's much left in that, or they'll go now, they'll try to back and fill it. See, that's another thing too, is the currencies do that back and fill that we're talking about. We see the currencies go up, and they back and fill, and then they go up, and they go back and fill. In other words, they go down, and traders can try to buy them lower. Here comes the low. And then if it stays in the buy, the next bar, it'll be like, oh, okay, maybe, we're going to go roaring back up again. Now, in this case here, it's, depending on how you set up your stop, you might get pushed out right there, especially with the, you can see the green line trying to get underneath the 0 line. So we'll watch and see how this acts and see if it takes it back up into this area here. Let's see. And we have 661 ticks to go. So it's a 900. I like to call it a full Tesla. Actually, it's a 3-time Tesla almost, isn't it? 396 is a Tesla in my head. Okay, 396. And so in this case here, this chart is a. Oh well, I'm sorry. It's 96. 96? Yeah, 96. That's what it is. It's not. So it's a 96 tick. So there's 51 ticks, and it's playing around with trying to go back into the sell, and it'll turn it into a loss after all those wins. We'll see. There's 44 ticks. It's holding up. It's trying. Let's put it that way. We'll see if it turns right back up again. 42 ticks. 38 ticks. And stall it out a little bit there. There's 34 ticks. Very thin market, actually. Not really ticking away too much. 32 ticks. Really slow. 29 ticks. 26 ticks. Looks, we'll see if this holds up. And there's 22 ticks. Let's see if this buy holds up and it keeps on climbing. 18 ticks. We'll just watch this for a little bit, unless someone wants to see anything else. There is 15 ticks. 12 ticks. It seems like 2s and 4s are trading here. There's a 10. Now we're down to 10 ticks. We're down to 7 ticks. There was 3 ticks that traded. There was a 4 ticker. Not bad. Let's see if it brings it to 0 on this one. There it is, 0. All right, so it's still on the buy. Let's see how the next bar comes out. And trying to lift up a little bit here again. Let's see how it takes out the buy. Remember, we are minus at the moment with this thing. You know, it went long at the. Let's tell you what it went long at. It went long at the 108.44. 108.44.1. We're at 42.9. Let's see if it gets to 44.1. There's it. 84.26. There's a bunch of ticks there. Some buyers coming in, I guess. And there's 30. There's trading at 84.32. There's 63 ticks to go. And let's see. 58 ticks. And it seems to be still trying to hold up. We have 50 ticks to go for the next one. And it's just always fascinating to watch the math do its job on an intraday basis. We'll watch for one more bar and then we'll go from there. So this is the natural way of a market right here. We don't see this as much in the stock markets anymore. That's the irritating part. And we're only half a tick away now to be flat. 35 ticks. And it's trading at 34. It was just trading at 35. 108. 108.43.5 it was trading at. Now it's trading at 34. And there's 28 ticks. And let's see what goes. Yeah, see, it's just quiet, really. It's just ticking away with, now it's 21, 19. Now it's basically where we started at 84. And now it falls off of that. It hits it and drops. And we still have 17 ticks to go. And 15 ticks to go. Now this is, basically a really challenging trade. It's making it very hard to get a profit out of it. And 8 ticks. And what else have we got here? You can see it's a resistance area too. Over the last 3 hours, it has become a resistance area. Right there. See that? Put the white line on it like that. 2 ticks. Ready for the next one. Here we go. Now it looks like it's trying to break down a little bit there. We see the green line trying to get underneath the 0 line. That's right there. So in other words, when take opportunity, I would take a profit out of this thing and start over again. And so now the profit is there. And, I'd take sell out half right there, put a stop lower, and lock in a profit. And that would be the way I'd go with something like this. It's not exactly running fast, so it's not exactly something I want to try to ride. I like more instant gratification myself, but that was a tough trade to get a nice profit out, and that's because that long line for 3 hours has been what do you call it, a resistance. Now, a lot of times, when it does it 3 times like that, and I'm going to put little spots on there. I'm going to show you a trading situation. Here, and here, and here. If this breaks this, now normally what will happen is it usually back and fills when it hits something like that. It back and let's just make it wider there. Move it over. A lot of times it does that downdraft and then breaks through it, and then we'll slide over and we'll show you where we think it could go to. Well, we're thinking this right there. So right here, this line right there, more than likely it'll try to trade up to the 108.50 area. Something like that. And we'll put this line in there. And that's how we watch this thing. And due to the fact it's the 3rd time, a lot of times they do find ways to lift. And they may take it down one more time, challenge this low right here. This low right here. And then, come down, challenge that, and then go challenge that line right there. Let's see how it goes. You can see it's really stalled. It's trying to sell off again. And I don't know why 3s happen, but they do. They seem to happen a lot over the decades. We've always seen it where they run up to something, hit it, fall down. Run up to something, hit it, fall down. Run up and hit it and fall down. And then if they lift the 4th time through it, then that usually opens the doorway for that. You take a look at the next low, the higher low, back further like we just showed you right here. Let's see, go like this. Right there, you look at that one right there, that low, and that's usually the place that we'll try to take out. But it has to get through this one here. We'll call that we'll make that the yellow line, like a warning. And that's the name of the game there. That's the way it works. All right, and that's just a little intraday, showing you the ebb and flow that we've been talking about where we've lost that ebb and flow. But currencies have the ebb and flow still, and so do bonds, which is really nice. Now, the stock market does not anymore. It seems to have lost it altogether. That's because it's such a small market, the Federal Reserve can influence it enormously. All right. And that was a little lesson in that was a visual example of it. We're going to drift off. Maybe we'll come back to that. That'll be kind of fun. We can come back to that. Let's go back to the currencies again, right there. And let's look at, wait a minute. Where am I at here? There it is right there. And let's look at Mr. Cable. See what the British pound is doing out of all that action. You can see it got knocked down from the inflation thing. Let's go take a look at it on an intraday basis just to look at that. Right there. There it is. It came out somewhere around in here, I believe. Let's go look and see what time it was. See, 5 o'clock is right around here. And I believe it showed that it was going to be, today was going to be, let's see, what time did there, oh, okay, it came out at 3. Okay, so that makes more sense. Core, PPI, yeah, it all came out right here. Let's get that mouse again. So all that, the news, economic news, came out right here. Right here. And you can see we slid into a sell. It went back and forth. Let's widen that out. But what it did is it went into a sell, and it just kept on, every time it went into the sell, it would fall down more, a lot more pressure. This was interesting. They tried to bottom it in here, and, we were in the buy there all the way up to there, and then we went to the sell again right here, and then another slam down until right here, and then right back into another sell right there. So you can see they're trying to bottom it right now. They're trying to put a little bottom into it. Right now there's the buy. Let's see if it, now if there's one, there's 2, it failed at that, There's 3, and it made a new low and then turned back up. So we'll see, because normally that, if let's put it this way, if this comes back down here and breaks that, more than likely it'll be going lower, definitely going lower from this point right there. All right, now let's go back to the weekly and the daily. And as you can see there, it's been in the daily sell, for 7 days now, or 8 days, something like that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. It's in a weekly buy, and it's not getting that beat up. We're not seeing that much damage. Where's it at? There it is, right there. We're not seeing much damage in the British pound from the the economic news at the moment. All right. Now from there, what do we got here? We've got. Let's go take a look at the Swiss. The Swiss, there's a 6th day in the buy, and it's climbing up with no problem. And so is the weekly, just staying in that buy for the last 9 weeks, coming from the 85.5, 86 area, and now we are at the 89 area. From there, we'll slide over to the yen. They've raised interest rates there, so we're going for like 40-year highs now in the currency. This was the last of the major industrial nations that got rid of their minus interest rate. They actually still had a minus interest rate. And then what do we got from there? There's the yen. That's pretty cool, the yen. Let's see what the Nikkei's doing. I just want to say what it's doing. It was made another high. It's close to an all-time high. It's just a little underneath it still. All right. Now let's drift over to the Great Experiment. It closed at an all-time close yesterday. It is just a little underneath it today. It's the 3rd day in a buy. Let's put that line in there. I thought I put a line in there yesterday. There's the buy. Let's save it again. Save workspace. There we are. Okay. All right, now, yes. All right, and so this is whatever excited this poor market down on Monday. Boy, they wish they didn't do that, I guess. There is the Turkish lira. There's not much to be said about that. It's been, we looked for it to try to climb up into that 37 area. It seems very close at this point. Okay, now let's now we'll go over to the South African Rand. And there is the South African Rand. And it backed off a little bit yesterday and backed off a little bit more today. And so they're gaining just a little gain against the dollar. It's still in a weekly sell, which is bullish for, gold and silver and so forth. All right, let's put that in. All right, and there's gold showing weakness here, which is a little surprising. South African Rand is trying. I mean, maybe not. It's not really that surprising. I mean, the currency is losing against the dollar, and when it's losing against the dollar, the metals complex also loses against the dollar. Gold goes down. So that's what we're seeing in gold. Gold now is 7 days in a sell. You can see right there. Let me just take a look at it on the beta. See if it's turned into a sell again, or see, where was it at? Was it in a buy? Is that what it was? It's in a daily buy weekly. Okay, there it is. And it's still just hovering. That went into a buy for 3 days, with this tight market in there. And then we can't see right now what's going on, if it's going into the sell yet, but it is down on the screen there. So that's the gold. Silver, I think silver is in the sell right now. Yes, there it is. It's still in the sell this morning. It's been trying bounce. It missed it because the green and the red didn't put it in the sell, and then they tried to pop it up yesterday, and then they dropped it down. It just missed, and now it's definitely pushing into that sell. But again, we're in weekly buys, so this is just more of, like I always like to call it, dead cat bounces. In other words, I don't think there's a lot of strength in this action here. Yep. All right, and then let's go over to copper. Copper's very confusing. I really thought they were running the copper because of TikTok. Now that there's a hold on TikTok and nothing's happening, it's very interesting. Wow. So the copper is backing off now, and because basically it looks like the majority leader in the Senate is not going to bring that vote to the floor, as much as he has. If it was brought to the floor, it would win, and so he's not going to bring it to the floor. I guess that's what it comes down to, and they don't have enough votes to push it. So there's the copper, and then last but not least, we'll look at the platinum right there. Platinum has been in a sell for 3 days, and it's pressuring down. And you can see the weekly is, pushing very comfortably. It's really through. Let's do this. I also put the line in Tuesday, or today's Wednesday now. But it's just pushing through. So chances of it going into a buy right now are very slim. All right, that pretty much takes care of the metals complex. And from the metals complex, we will drift over to the energy complex. There is crude. Ooh, look at that dip. They're actually making a threat to the daily sell even. Look at that. Good for them. We're just flirting with it at the moment. Right on the edge, you see it minus 0.05, 06, 07, 06, 05, 04. Very tight. It's in a weekly buy, so we're not exactly too excited about that. That's the May contract. And then we go over to here. We can see the same situation. They're trying to do the same on the beta. Now let's put on the, we'll show you the beta, and we will show you the North Sea oil, Brent, Right there is the West Texas. Let's put the Brent in there, like right there. There's Brent. You can see it's 5 days in a buy. It's being pressured right now. It's still got a green dot going on, but still being pressured. It's right on the edge. And we're in a weekly buy for, 4 weeks there. So, energy complex is doing pretty good, I guess you could say. Doing pretty good. And then from there, we'll go over to natural gas. NG. Right there. There's natural gas. It's still flirting with that sell side. Let's see on the updated platform. Let's go back over to here and take a look at it right there. Yeah, so it was trying to get into the buy this morning. Now it's pressing down. It's still at 0.0020. So it's trying to hold up. There's no doubt about that. It's trying to hold up, but it's in the weekly sell. So it really makes it, it's in a neutral position in our math. And take a look at it there. You see they jumped into the weekly buy last week and is back into the weekly sell as we speak now. So the pressure's on there. Now. We'll go to, we'll slide all the way down to Spain and show you the energy company that we pay attention to. Right there, it's been trading under the $20 area, and I imagine it still is. Looking like it, that's for sure. Yep, right there. We'll just make this bigger for these last 5 days. You see there, it's trading at, what's that, 1990 at the moment, with a low of 1988. So it's at the lows of the day. You see it's back into the sell now, going on a third day, and we've been in 10 full weeks in a weekly sell. And that has been the nature of that particular stock, and it represents how we watch the energy market in the continent itself. Because it's natural gas, and they provide a lot of natural gas, and their stock literally follows the market. All right, then let's see what's next. Let's take a look at. We go from here. We go over to the stock market. So let's go check out the Pacific first, or Asian markets, and that area. And let's take a look at the Nikkei. It's around here somewhere. I was just looking at it. There it is, right there. There's Nikkei. And you can see right there, it's lifting up towards all-time highs. It was at 3, 6, 9, and 2. It was 11. 11 days ago, it was at all-time record high, right here, right there. Yeah. So that is the Nikkei. And let's see, what is the next one? Let's take a look at. We'll take a look at the Kospi in South Korea. And there's the Kospi doing the same thing, lifting up today. It's been in the sell for 3 days, and it's on the 4th, but it's probably starting to turn soon. If it turns green on the dot, more than likely we'll be moving into that buy side. You see here, we've been in weekly buy for 9 weeks. It's flirting with a weekly sell at the moment. We'll see how that is. That's Monday's tick, not Tuesday's tick. We're still a day behind there. All right. Then from there, we go over to the Taipei index with the chips and all that stuff right there. There's the Taipei index, and you can see there, that is in a buy for the last 2 days, going on 3 today. You can see it there. Now look at that. They're putting a little pressure on it today, just pushing it down a little. And at the same time, it's been 10 full weeks in a weekly buy. And then we slide over to Australia, the All Ordinaries. That's 10 weeks in a buy. And you can see it's it looks like it's trying to get into the daily buy there. And you can see it lifted today and then failed. But it's trying it. It's got a green dot, and it's trying to get through the manifold. So see how that reading comes out later on, because that's still part of yesterday and part of today. It's not updating fully today. So, and then from there we go over to the Nifty 50. Let's check out the Nifty 50 right there in India, and that's been sliding a little bit for the last week and a half. You see, they tried to get into the buy on Friday. That's Monday, and then yesterday they slid back into the sell, and it's not holding up that well. And this is the second week in a weekly sell, so you wouldn't try to take the long anyway, since we're in a weekly sell. So that's the Nifty 50, and then where do we go from there? Let's go over to let's see. Let's go to we go over to Hong Kong. I know they just changed more laws over there, and poor Hong Kong is really on the ropes. Now they can lock people up even easier. There's the Hong Kong. index. A little firm today, not bad. Trying to climb into the buy. It's in the buy from yesterday, and it's trying to get into. Just widen this out a little bit more like that. Oop, whoa, that didn't work. Let's go like that. Oh, that didn't work either. And that's the 20th. So it was just down. Or no, it was up a little bit. It was up a little bit. So it was holding up. It's holding up. And it's trying to turn up. That was yesterday's buy signal. And you can see, so today it climbed up again after being knocked down off of that legislation that was passed. But again, this is another one of those you can't take the long side because we're in weekly sells. So all you're doing is fighting with a cross current. It's better to be neutral when you can't get both of them lined up, the daily and the weekly. And then from there, we'll go over and see the Hang Seng right there. And there is the Hang Seng. No, that didn't do it. Let's try it again. There's the Hang Seng. And it's down for like the last 4 days, but just quietly, after that gap down. And it's in a sell for the 4th day right there. We're not seeing it yet. And it's trying to close in a weekly sell. Started off Monday in the minus. So we're seeing Tuesday action there. That's Tuesday's close so far. And it's pushing into the sell with that daily sell. So they're moving down together. All right. From there, we slide over to the European continent. And we'll see what's going on with the DAX right there. There's the DAX lifting up. Yesterday it went into the buy, and today it's up again for a second day in a buy. And it's been 10 full weeks in a weekly buy. And there is the CAC 40 right there. CAC 40 right there. Where are you? Right there. And it is in a buy from yesterday. And it's a little down from it, but it's still in the buy. And it's in a weekly buy for 10 weeks. Then we look at the FTSE. See what the inflation did to the FTSE today. Looks like it's trying to lift. Yeah, it is. It was trying to lift yesterday. And I'm sure it's climbing into the buy, especially with a green dot up there. And we are in a weekly buy for 10 full weeks. So the inflation is not scaring it too much. Not too much. There you go. All right. So from there, we come over to the States. See what's going on in the States. We've seen the S&P 500. It's zipping up, zip-diddy-doo-dah, right there. And it's up in a daily buy for a second day. And it's in a weekly buy, 10 here. And we see all the way back, we've been in a weekly buy since the end of October. So this thing doesn't let go. Now, the NASDAQ 100 is a little different story. It seems like they're back and filling that, which is something we always want to see as a trader. You can see yesterday it closed in a buy, and it's higher today. We're a second week in a buy, and it's just slow pushing, Then we go look at the Grand Lady, Dow Jones Industrial Average. Off a little bit today, but in a buy for 2 days now, and the weekly's been in. Oh, look at that. The weekly is flirting with a sell now. We're putting some pressure on that coming into the week. Interesting. So maybe we're going to start to see some backing and filling there. I don't know. Usually they say sell in May and go away. And here we are only a week and about a week away. In other words, we got a week and a half. Today is the 20th. So we got 10 days. Next Friday is the last trading day of the month. Next Friday is. And so maybe they're going to do a little spring cleaning. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever the Fed wants to do, that's what will happen. And then last but not least, we'll take a look at one of the most wildest, it's definitely the most speculative index we have in the States right now. And that is the Russell 2000, coming off of that high there, and went into a sell right there. Went into the sell there and has been in a sell ever since. Whoa! Just lost all of it. There we are. And at the same time, we're in a weekly sell for 2 weeks. Also pressing down with that selling there. That was one interesting drop there. And then they popped it back up, but could not get into a buy. So that's the most speculative index we have in the States here. That's the Russell 2000. There are a lot of hedge fund managers and money managers in general that will look at the S&P, I think it's called like the 600 or the 650. There's an index. A lot of them like to follow that. They think that when people are buying that stock index, the markets are taking off, and when they're selling that one, that means speculative money is chosen not to participate. They think of it as the most speculative index, and it's a better one with a little bit more dividend. And RTY, it's not the dividend as much as they say that the S&P 650, maybe it is has all the companies make money, and in the RTY, something like there's 2,000 companies in there. And something like 1,000 of them are making money, and 1,000 of them are losing money, and like over the last 3 years. And then I think on a shorter term basis, it might be like 675 or something like that losing money. So it definitely catches your eye when you're looking at stocks that are not really participating that well, overall in the marketplace, and so it puts a lot of pressure on them. And money managers like to buy those stocks because one of them will be out of the 2,000. Maybe one of them one day will be an Intel. The problem is you don't know which one it is. So it's a tough situation. All right, I guess that's about it. We've come up with a title. It was about the ebb and flow of the market. That was and we showed you. Oh, let's go back to that real quick. Let's go look at how it played out on the, let's see. Let's go take a look at the euro. Right there. Let's see how it played. There it is right there. Yeah, so it hit it, failed, came down. And normally we would have thought this one would have taken off. It would have been the fourth one. But it didn't. So it failed at that. So it hit it 3 times. And then the fourth time, it tried to break out and still couldn't do it. And it went into the buy right here. Right there, it went into the buy and it climbed up, but it just could not get through this area. And you can see it's pushed itself into the sell one more time. Maybe tomorrow we'll go and take a look at that. We'll see how that looks. Because it'll be interesting to see how it played out. We'll know tomorrow when we see it higher. We'll go, okay, yeah, it finally broke the 108.45 area and took off. All right, traders, we're out of here. So this is Doc from North America. What happened there? Let's get rid of that. This is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, we will catch you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Ta-ta for now.